I'm a 26-year-old female, and I was walking my dog behind a couple with their child. I started to feel like maybe I was creeping them out because I was walking behind them for a couple of blocks with a 100-pound mastiff. Then I started wondering if I feel this way. Do men ever feel creepy in public around women or children? If you do you ever take measures to try and subtly let women know you're not a creep? How so? Sometimes I will ride the elevator alone with a guy I've never met and I feel like he makes small talk to be friendly or not come off as creepy. Genuinely curious. Story 1. I used to not care until I took my niece to a playground while I was babysitting her, and some women tried to talk to us. Definitely gave me dirty looks. Took me a minute to catch on, but they followed us home. Not fun. Story 2. I was out watering my lawn, and my convertible Mustang was parked at the curb in front of the house. A little girl walking by asked if her sister could sit in my car. She explained that her sister was autistic. I said absolutely, and they both jumped in, started turning the wheel a bit, and laughing up a storm. Later, I told my wife, and she said not to do that again because I am an older male and it wasn't appropriate. It sucks just trying to be friendly sometimes. Story 3. John Mulaney does a great bit about seeing a woman begin to run in the subway. Assuming he would also miss the train, he began to run as well. She eventually screams, and he realizes she's been running from him the whole time, only beginning to run because he was walking behind her late in the subway. Since hearing that bit, I think about it when walking behind a woman in certain settings, for sure. Story 4. People have crossed the street to avoid me. I'm 6 feet tall, overweight, white, tattooed, and bearded. Trying to define what makes people comfortable, I will never fully understand. I wave, smile, move into the street if there isn't enough room. I'm a tall guy. I would be more comfortable with you or most people being safer on the sidewalk. They will see me or I will be able and willing to deal with the consequences better than some. I have a good sense of self, and if I saw a child getting sunburned on their back, I would give them my shirt. I love people, truly. I also hate people. I just do my own thing and try to be respectful. Don't worry about how others perceive you. You will be better off for it. Before anyone posts, the above mentioned is few and far between. Most normal people just keep walking. I also understand seeing a large guy could trigger something scary for you because we have the same appearance as those who use their size, appearance, or muscles for bad. Speak up. It only takes good people doing nothing for evil to win. Much love. Thanks for reading. Story 5. It happens sometimes. If I am behind someone I can tell might be a little nervous, I will stop to text or something to at least widen the gap or let them know that I am not following them. It just depends on the situation. Whatever you are doing that could be creepy, stop doing it. Story 6. None. I once got in an elevator down to a basement car park with a girl who pretended to forget something and bailed out, just in case. I understood why and went about my day. Good on her. I'm not letting that affect me. Story 7. I don't really know. I know I'm not going to do anything creepy, and I know I can't change people's perspective. The only downside for me is that kids and animals always love me, so I end up in situations where people have the wrong idea more often. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of the "you look a certain way, so you must be a certain way" crowd. But as I can't change them, it's their problem if they misunderstand, not mine. Story 8. I went to school at an urban college. Generally, if I was anywhere near a woman at night walking to my car, I would get my phone out and call someone just so she would hear that I was not trying to sneak up on her or be focused on her. These days, I just avoid everyone around me. You never know who the crazy people are anymore. Story 9. Well, in my case, yes. Sometimes I have been walking home after clubbing, and a random girl happened to be walking in front of me in the same direction. In those cases, I try to change the side of the road I am using, walk slightly faster to be in front of her, and go back to my side of the road. In the elevator case, I always try to go in first and pick my floor so that the girl isn't thinking that I am there to do something to her, and I don't care about the floor. Other scenarios might be crowded places such as clubs or the metro, where sometimes I might be very close to some girl. So I usually lean slightly away from them and turn sideways to not look at them directly. Story 10. I'll find the nearest sharp thing and off myself. What do you mean, come off as creepy? I'm just existing, for fuck's sake. Why should I care that my existence is unreasonably making someone uncomfortable? Story 11. I ignore it. I'm not doing anything creepy, so if someone thinks I am, then it's their problem. The deck is stacked against men. Someone will always accuse us of being creepy, even if we're just minding our own business. Let them be creeped out. I hope they're uncomfortable while I do my everyday, normal activities. Story 12. Just live life and keep your hands to yourself and you're all right. You can walk where you like in public without feeling like a creep. Society in general is pretty messed up. There are so many people that are unduly paranoid for no reason. Somebody invades your personal space or follows you from place to place. Then and only then do you have a problem. Story 13. I give people their space and do some variation of saying hi, nodding, smiling, or waving in close situations. I don't really handle it differently when it's a man or a woman. As a dad, I'm always creeped out when people engage in conversation with my children and do not acknowledge me. I'd imagine that most mothers feel the same way. Don't do that. Story 14. I do recognize the importance of this because one time I was walking through central London after dark after a gig I had done, and I realized that I had left my notepad at the venue. So I turned around and immediately started walking back the way I had come. The trouble was that a young woman had been walking close behind me without me noticing her, and my sudden turn scared her. She screamed and dropped all of her stuff. I apologized profusely, and she quickly saw that I was harmless. But in that moment I did realize how scary I might appear to lone women. I am a stocky bearded man with an unsteady gait, so I am more than a little trollish from a distance. I haven't changed my habits much, but one thing is notable. On my way between my apartment and the shops, cafe, and main neighborhood square, I have the choice of going through a short, dark tunnel or going above the tunnel and across an infrequently used railway track. If I know I'm going to be following or walking past a lone woman on the way through the tunnel, I'll go via the railway track instead, even though the tunnel is a quicker route. I also don't ask lone women for directions anywhere. Story 15. Well, I know people will judge anyways, and I also know there isn't a whole lot I can or even should do about it. So I just mind my own business and hope everyone else does the same. Story 16. I simply try to avoid unnecessary contact with women while walking because, to be honest, once a woman gets a feeling she is being followed or anything, you lose instantly, and you might get involved in a really unpleasant situation. In other words, I do not walk behind women. Story 17. I just don't care anymore. You could do everything imaginable and still somebody is going to have an issue. Let people manage their own issues or not. Either way, it's not my job. What I will do is not deliberately make people uncomfortable, because that really is just weird. Story 18. Other people's insecurities are not your nightmares. Go about your business as long as you don't bother them. Better yet, if someone implies something, turn the tables. I'm walking to work, and this creepy woman kept turning around and looking at me, and it was really unnerving. Story 19. Stressing about it is a surefire way to come off as creepy. There's really no way to control strangers' perception of you, but people typically can pick up when someone isn't being genuine and will get a bad taste in their mouth if you're not. As far as being creepy, I've never really been concerned with coming off as creepy with guys. How men view me isn't something I really worry about. But I do try to avoid accidentally making women uncomfortable, so if we are walking in the same direction, I will pass them when I can at as much of a respectable distance as I can so they don't have to worry about someone like me looming over them from behind. And if that's not an option, I do the frustrating thing called walking slowly enough that a distance continuously grows between us. Story 20. I smile and I'm courteous simply because it's how I would want to be treated. I am a 120 kilogram, 6 foot 4 inch tall, fully tattooed, bald, bearded male. I'm aware that I have an intimidating look, but I don't go out of my way to make someone feel more comfortable simply because of their prejudice. Story 21. Here's the thing. You can't make everyone happy all of the time. You also can't live your life constantly stressing about how other people feel. You don't know a stranger's story. You don't know how they are going to react to anything you say or do. Sometimes it's best to do nothing at all. That's funny because even that might be unsettling to some people. What's actually unsettling is how sexist this question is worded. Why is it about a male who's unsettling? Why can't it be a general question about people not being unsettling around other people? Story 22. Yes, I have felt like I have creeped out women or people with kids. If it is late at night and I am walking down the street and there is a woman up ahead and I am catching up to her, I will cross the street. I don't make conversation with strange women without reason. I don't look at them while in the gym. In fact, this is the reason I got into calisthenics, so I don't need the gym and the reason I don't go to yoga classes. With children, it is different. I am not going to hang around playgrounds unless I am with friends or family with children. But I got a gig teaching 4 to 5-year-old children French for a few weeks. Not much I could do there. I just avoid touching the kids and make sure someone else takes them to the bathroom. If there is a strange child, I am not going to go out of my way to interact with them. Story 23. I don't really worry about people thinking I'm a creep. It's more that there are occasions where I don't want someone to be unnecessarily afraid. I'm a big man, and if I need to walk down a mostly empty street behind a woman at night, I'll slow down so that there's space between us or switch sides. There are situations where the woman would have every reason to be at least concerned, and out of consideration, I try to minimize that. People at the park thinking I might be creeping on some kids. Who cares? Story 24. You cannot. Anything you do to try just makes you seem creepier. I just try to avoid looking at them, so at the very least I do not have to feel awkward when I notice their reaction to me. The worst times were always when I was just walking my dog, and a kid would run over to pet it, and immediately their parents would stare me down and run over to get them. Story 25. How someone else feels is not my problem to solve. I just do my thing and live my life. If that's somehow creepy to someone else, there is nothing I can do about that. Story 26. Just carry on. You have the perfect right to go about your day doing whatever you want without judgment. You don't need to take special measures. It's not your problem. Men doing regular things should be acceptable and normal. Story 27. No, I do not do anything. It is their mental issues if they want to project creepiness onto me when I have done nothing to warrant it. Maybe they need some psychiatric help as to why they project that onto men. Story 28. Kids. Do not look at them for too long. Do not smile at them. Do not make it seem like I am interested in that child. It sounds strange, but I do not know how to better describe it. Women. It is much more difficult. I try not to walk, stand, or do anything too close to them. When randomly walking in the same direction as a woman, I just stop and do something else, or make a detour or anything. Story 29. Your paranoia and life worries are not my responsibility. If you are worried about men being creepy due to your own thoughts, not something another person has done, stay home or remove yourself from the situation. Your life and thoughts are on you. Story 30. The issue is men having to take measures not to appear creepy in the first place. How is assuming someone to be creepy just because he's a man different from assuming someone to be trouble just because they are black? Should he take measures not to appear as trouble? Or maybe, don't be racist? Story 31. There are a few options. Hands behind the back, look upward, have an optimistic expression, look interested in my phone, slow down or create distance when behind people, etc. In general, a cheerful demeanor helps a lot. Story 32. I'm in my late 40s. If a woman, especially one that appears under 30, has a shirt on with writing on it and it can't be read in a glance, I'm not going to find out what it says no matter how curious I am. Chances are she's forgotten about the text and will think I'm just staring at her chest. Story 33. I am the person you are talking about. I am a father of 3 daughters and am constantly around women and children when I am doing anything with my kids. Walking them home from school, taking them to their activities and sports, swimming, art classes, music lessons, and friends' birthday parties. I take my kids and their friends out to go to parks, movies, dinner, and ice cream. I am constantly feeling like people see me as a threat and a danger. I recently refused to attend a pool party with my daughter because I would have been one of, if not the only father there, and I had a lot of feelings about how other people would see me if I went there with her. I am friends with a lot of my daughter's parents, and I know most of the moms walking with us home from school. No one, as far as I can tell, thinks of me as anything but a father who loves and is involved in his daughter's lives. But in my head, I worry about people being afraid of me. Story 34. Nothing. I am told I have a jovial and reassuring presence. And I am cute as a unicorn on rainbows. Also, it is really not my problem if someone who shares a public place with me does not like my stupid face. Story 35. Realize there is nothing you can do to change someone else's perception. If you are not doing anything creepy and someone still perceives you as being creepy, there is no behavior you can practice to change their perception. Story 36. I largely keep to myself. I work a weird schedule, so when I go to work out, it's often outside of normal people hours, from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. If someone, any age or gender, is walking when I am jogging, I make sure to switch sides of the road. Edit. Sometimes leaving the axe or chainsaw at home helps too. Story 37. I usually avoid walking up to the workout station when a woman is present next to it, because sometimes I sense I'm under surveillance by them, waiting to catch an unintentional glance from me, and assume I'm a creep trying to get close. Even though I'm an attractive guy, it is not worth taking the risk. Story 38. I just mind my own business and do me. If I start a conversation with someone, it has to be over a genuine connection like a shared interest or just small talk with folks I know are chill and friendly. Guys don't realize that being genuine over creepy is literally your confidence and whether or not the conversation you're having is appropriate for the environment.